Good morning, you guys. It is Amanda and Barron with Kickin Cancer Cares on KSLM Radio, 104.3 FM and 1220 AM. Our sponsor for this first half is Oddmo's Pizza. Best pizza ever. Amazing, fresh ingredients. I love their white garlic sauce that they have. You can put that on any of their pizzas and it's good. You could even dip it in their wings.
Well, I'll tell you, last week when our show aired on Saturday, I was with Cheryl from our board.
Yeah.
And she says, when are they going to get one in Corvallis? Because as you were describing all of it, she was like, I need to get one in Corvallis.
Right now.
Because unfortunately, the closest one is South Salem.
Yeah.
Albany and Corvallis don't have an Oddmo's, but man, she's like, I wish we had one down here.
We just went to the one, I think it was Canby. Mm-hmm. Yep, we went to the Canby one because it was closer to us this last weekend.
Yeah, because they have Newburgh and McMinnville and Canby, then one in Hillsboro, but who knows?
Yes.
One in Corvallis soon.
They're amazing and all fresh ingredients, so good. I love it. So thank you, Mike, from Oddmo's Pizza. Go get your guys some lunch.
Well, I mentioned Albany in Corvallis, which is where our guest was from last week.
Yes.
Sarah Madsen. Mm-hmm. So Sarah, we had this interesting conversation. Well, actually, let me back up for a second. Let's introduce our guest.
Yes.
Get ahead of myself. So we are not in studio. We are actually in a wonderful little studio.
Oh, I love it.
With Christina. So tell our listeners where we're at and who you are.
Sure. We are just outside of Jefferson.
Okay.
Right off of I-5. So about a mile from the rest stop, in between Albany and Salem. And I am Christina Laske, and my business is Laser Therapy of Oregon. So I treat people that have pain with a laser.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
And if you're listening to the radio show on Saturday, make sure you go to YouTube on Monday because you can see where we're at and what we're talking about. We're going to get deeper into how what you do can help with inflammation and those issues. Yeah. But last week's guest, we talked about, is cancer hereditary or environmental? Mm-hmm. And in their case, her husband had what's called the RB1 gene. So he had a hereditary gene, but it was dormant until he was exposed to jet fuel in the military, and that actually activated the gene so that when they had a child, the child was born with that RB1 gene, which stands for retinal blastoma, and so he had an eye cancer.
Wow.
So we had this really interesting conversation about hereditary or environmental or both.
Yeah.
What was the big takeaway for you?
So, believe it or not, it was more of her her outlook on it all, on how she gets to do these things because of their journey and how she approaches it like that. So instead of, oh, well, we can't go here because my son has cancer or this or that, it's more, we can do these things because of the journey that we're on. And we get to eat these amazing foods because they feed our body in a better way. And so I loved how she spun such a positive outlook on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it breathed life into their family because of that positivity.
Yeah, he's 12 years old now. 10 years cancer-free. Would be really easy, 12 years ago to be very disheartened by this situation.
Yeah.
But it really has kind of changed all.
Yeah. So I just, because I know how much positivity can have an outlook on how we feel and our attitude towards things. And so that was my big takeaway from that story, was just how positive she was with it and how much they're thriving because of it.
Well, I know we've been going through this book, Christine. It's called, it's a magazine, 100 Disease-Fighting Foods.
Yeah.
And the last couple of weeks have not been Amanda's favorites.
Oh, like seafood and seaweed and salmon.
And salmon. She wasn't a big fan of
Terrible.
that.
No.
But you might like today's better.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Today's is spearmint.
Oh, yes.
So this fragrant herb delivers antioxidants like flavonoids. Spearmint is also an androgenic effect. In one study, it improved symptoms for women with the condition for ovarian disease. Mm-hmm. So spearmint helps in lots of conditions, and if you have, I'm not saying it would stop you from getting ovarian cancer, but it certainly puts the right phytonutrients in your system to slow that thing down.
Yes.
So, and I like to take the spearmint.
I do too. I like to actually muddle it and put it into drinks.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on spearmint, Christina?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's good. It is good.
It is good. The other update I have for you is we did go to Central Oregon last Saturday. Mm-hmm. And yes. So we have been working really hard for how we chapter out this concept, which started in Salem. We've got one in Vancouver that's working fairly well. They're getting ready to do another one of the events to help raise some money for somebody up there. Somebody reached out to me in Central Oregon that wanted to get one going within the Bend area. So we went over and did a meet and greet. About 15 people showed up. And as I was driving here to record today, she called me and she said, we want to do this. I mean, they're already getting the word out over there in the Bend area. So we're pretty excited to see what happens in the Bend area.
Absolutely. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting and scary because I always thought it was a realistic possibility, but now it's actually happening. And how do I fit into this big, huge picture? Is a little unnerving, but exciting at the same time.
You are the picture. You're the one that envisioned it all. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Truly.
it.
It's really awesome. Those big moves.
Big moves.
Huge moves.
Well, one of the biggest pieces we've got is we want to educate people on what they can do to proactively get ahead of cancer situations. And the biggest reason we're here is because inflammation is the cause of almost all disease. So I want you to take a few minutes, Christina, and describe again, like, where are we at? I'll hold this little brochure up, but where are we at? And what inspired you to start that?
Not that brochure, but that camera.
Where are we at?
Don't just go like this.
I mean, where are we at physically?
Yes. What is this room?
Okay.
That.
This is an outbuilding across from my house. So when you come to see me, people get a little confused because it's a residential area.
Sure.
But I've built a clinic next to my house.
Okay.
And like I said, it's between Albany and Salem. Now, 10, 12 minutes south of Salem, depending upon how fast you drive.
Sure.
And what was the other question?
So what in your life inspired you to start this?
Okay. So I didn't have a medical background. A lot of people ask me, if I did. I came to this business in pain, really. I've had, neck surgery. I've had shoulder surgery. I've had really physical jobs with concrete. I've been an athlete most of my life. And I've kind of abused my body, really, and realized that a decade and a half or two of chronic pain can be emotionally and physically draining.
Right.
And I found laser therapy because my dog had a couple different surgeries and they suggested doing laser therapy on her. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So I got a chance to meet the tech and talk to her a little bit about it and said, why don't you do this for people?
Right.
And she said, well, other companies do. And it's all over the world. The United States isn't really, we're kind of behind. The health insurance doesn't cover it.
Okay.
So we don't really hear about it. But FDA approved it back in 2001. Our commercial sports industry has been using it for decades. The machine I got came out of Italy, which is, Europe. It's really popular. And I just thought if I could get a machine, heal myself, get back from surgery faster, then I could start a business. And that was my intention. And I thought, if I could help people, give them some hope when they, were kind of at their wits' end, they didn't have any resources.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people have tried chiropractic, PT, acupuncture, and at some point their doctors just say, just take medication because we don't have any answers for you.
Right.
Those are the people that come see me, and I can usually help them. So
the ones that have run out of answers. Yeah, one more thing.
They have no hope. They're they're depressed.
At a dead end.
They think they're just going to have to live with this pain.
Right.
But the laser therapy treats that, which is really exciting. And that's how I got into it, and I love it. And I'm here to just help as many people as I can with all kinds of pain.
Did you buy a machine to treat yourself?
I did.
Okay.
I'm a little clumsy, so it's actually kind of good because I hurt myself a lot. So I come into my laser room and it's probably not good also because I know it's here. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. But yeah, I bought it to treat myself and then start a business. And that was right when COVID happened, which unfortunately was not a good time for this kind of business.
Sure.
But I weathered that storm and I'm building it.
Okay.
And it's
So apparently it's easy to do on yourself, and then ideally have someone like you do it on another person.
Yeah, most of the, your body you can do in front, and then I have a hands-free unit that you put the wand into, and then it's kind of like a big arm that bends over your back, and you can lay on a table or just have that bend around the back of you and treat your back. So it's real simple that way.
So how exactly does it work?
It is red light therapy, but it's not the red light therapy that you see in the saunas and spas and stuff. That is scattered light. This is actually a laser beam. So it's near infrared light that penetrates into the tissues. It stimulates the mitochondria in the cell to produce more ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is really the energy source of the cell. Okay. So it reduces inflammation, stimulates your body's natural healing properties. it's good for edema. It's good for preventing scar tissue formation. It's really good at targeting at the cellular level and stimulating your body's own natural healing process. So there really are no side effects because it's natural and you're not introducing anything new.
You're using your own body to heal itself.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So you said it also helps prevent scar tissue.
It does. It's actually been around since the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's just gotten better and better and more powerful. So I treat a lot of post-surgical patients, and this is one of the great reasons for helping cancer patients is it will prevent you from laying down scar tissue, which is really the part that's painful in the long run. So if you can prevent that, you have less pain. Mm-hmm. And it helps close wounds. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you talk about scar tissue because I was pointing out before we started recording, this would have been probably almost 30 years ago. And it was an unfortunate accident, but I cut my finger pretty bad right through here.
Yeah.
In fact, it was cut so bad that we wrapped it up and it had some stuff in it. So when I got to the doctor, they had to clean it out. It was very painful to clean this out. Then they put stitches on it. Well, it didn't heal right. And there's a wonderful little bump right here where it didn't seal up. Would it have been possible to not have that kind of scar tissue if we'd used the laser?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no guarantees on anything.
No, but that's actually the whole, that would be a perfect purpose for it. Yeah.
To help with scar tissue.
Yeah. There's actually a vet in Peoria down near Corvallis that lasers inside the body cavity of every animal before they stitch them up. It is so good for the cells.
Oh, wow.
So they're in there, inside lasering. But yeah, the sooner you can laser, the better. But I will tell you, I had one lady come in a couple weeks back, and she had a 24-year-old table saw injury to her thumb, and she could not hold a pen and write.
So she had no grip strength.
No grip strength. She just would avoid doing it. And I treated her. It was like a 3-minute and 18-second treatment. And she has no pain. And she's been writing for 2 weeks. I talked to her just recently. And it's like amazing. That's not everybody's response,
right,
but it does happen. So 24 years old, you think there's nothing you can do.
Right. But you can.
You can.
At least it's worth a try.
It's totally worth a try.
Yes.
Yeah. Why not?
Right. Why not?
Yeah.
So how often do you see results right away?
So about 5% of the people don't respond at all to laser therapy. They get no benefit whatsoever. 95% of the people.
They come in, they get the stuff, they say, well, it was a waste of time, and they never come back.
Well, so I tell people most conditions need a series of treatments, like 3 to 6 treatments. So
Right.
I try to get people to at least commit to 3 treatments before they make a decision.
Right.
Most people can tell the first treatment something, either some better range of motion or less pain. And that will, they'll be excited about coming more. But if they can not quit before 3 treatments, then they'll usually get some better results.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not a maintenance kind of thing.
I was just going to ask.
Yeah, so I tell people it's like a 3 to 6 treatments depending upon the body part and how old it is. But I usually see people for 2 weeks and I don't see them back again.
Right.
There are very few people that need to come back.
Wow.
So like for my wrist, like I was telling you before we started recording, I tried arm wrestling my nephew. I was really close to winning.
Of course you were.
That was
Dang it.
pretty brave of you.
No, really, you did win, right? Yeah. No.
And I am constantly mixing and bread and kneading. And I take ibuprofen sometimes like it's nobody's business lately with this, probably within the last month. And for it to be a no maintenance thing where you come in and you get laser therapy and for it to heal it, that would be so much better than just dealing with the pain, taking ibuprofen over the counter medications or going into the doctors and getting a prescription medication, whatever it may be. I would way rather.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose?
Right.
Nothing.
That's a big motivation for folks that don't want to take pain meds.
Yeah.
Or even people that have addictions that don't want to take any opiates or anything after surgery. They can do laser therapy and avoid taking pain meds.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Well, I can see where that would be a really big deal.
Yeah.
With everything on the news about people becoming addicted to pain meds, like I'm in pain, but I don't want to get addicted. What's my other alternative?
Right.
Just be another alternative.
So it stimulates your endorphins. so your body's natural pain fighting mechanism. So when you
Okay.
laser, you produce more endorphins. So you feel like you took some pain medication.
Right.
And it doesn't last forever, but if you have a series of treatments, you can get through the pain.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. And this is, again, if you're listening on the radio, you do really want to go to YouTube and watch this. Go to Kickin Cancer Productions on YouTube and then hit subscribe so you can see more of these in the future. But this is a relatively small room. You don't need a lot of space in here.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the machine over here is the laser machine we're talking about.
Yeah.
We've got about 10 more minutes. Do you want to treat my finger?
Sure, absolutely.
We'll jump ahead a little bit here.
Okay, all
And
right.
see if we can get some of this relief going on.
He's excited to be relieved.
Well, seriously, I cut this finger over about 30 years ago, and the listeners can't hear on the or can't see it on the radio, but as I touch this little spot right here, I can feel it in my finger. So there's some nerve damage.
That'll
there.
be interesting. I'm
And
going to give these to you
Okay.
to see.
I have literally decided that I'll live with that for the rest of my life because the nerves were damaged in the healing process.
Now, there's no
So
guarantee here. I mean,
I know.
this pressure is on.
I am not looking for a guarantee, but I would be interested to see if I do feel something immediately.
So I give people glasses to wear. It's not in the air. I don't wear it. But if I happen to drop the laser and it pointed at you and you looked at it, it wouldn't be good for your eyes.
Sure.
That's really one of the only safety issues there are. But that's not going to happen. And you have protection, so you're good. Okay.
Safety first.
Safety first.
That's right. All right.
All right, so
So this is not going to hurt. It's right here, right?
right there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You can feel that. Okay.
Literally, if you touch, I can feel that.
So this I'm going to
There's a
do
warming
about 3
sensation,
minutes.
I can tell you that.
It's called cold laser therapy only in relation to classification. So in surgery, they use hot lasers and those cut. This does not cut, so they title it or classify it as a cold laser. But obviously it's not cold, it's warm,
No,
which
there's
is
a There's a
confusing.
definite warming sensation right now.
Yeah, and it's really a deep warm, so you'll feel it for a while. It's not like a heating pad and you take it off and you don't feel it anymore.
So is the heat that I'm feeling, is that actually the laser headed into my hand?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and I think the camera can probably pick up that there's a red light flashing. That actually is an indicator light. So the laser itself is not visible to the eye, but
Oh.
they put an indicator light there so I know where it's going.
Okay.
So I know where to direct it.
Yeah, because I've got safety glasses on, but I don't see a laser hitting my finger at all.
Yeah, yeah, and your glasses are a little different prescription kind of than yours are. You can probably see the light a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
only-
Yours are totally safe. It's just a different filter.
Does it hurt? Is there what are you feeling?
It doesn't hurt. I mean, there's definitely a warm sensation, almost a hot sensation right now, but there's no pain.
So the reason I'm moving it is because if I didn't, it would be hot. It
Oh,
would
right.
be it would be uncomfortable. I don't think it would burn you, but I tell people it's quicker for you to just pull your hand away than for you to say, "Hey, that's a little too hot,"
Yeah.
So it's hard on a small area like this to not get too heated up.
Yeah. It was amazing, man. Like immediately there was a warm sensation as soon as she started.
So the pressure is on. We'll see how this feels.
And how long are you doing this treatment for?
3 minutes.
Okay. And she's just, for those that aren't watching on YouTube, she's just moving it around his finger all around to get the whole area.
Yeah, it's a little wand that's got a red light beam shooting out from it, and it's penetrating at his cellular tissue.
So the beam is actually going through the skin into the cells,
Right.
and then theoretically healing some stuff.
Yeah, and it's it can go in centimeters depending upon the, So the machine that I'm using has a software program, and you put in the body part, the skin tone, several parameters, whether it's chronic pain, acute pain, and then it actually calculates how deep to go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it does all the work for me. It's kind of a plug and play.
And it's a cool little machine. When you hear laser, for me, that's intimidating sounding.
Yeah.
But this is not intimidating looking
So
at all.
that's what it looks
If you want to
like.
see what's going on, go to Kickin Cancer
Right.
Productions on YouTube.
Yay! So this actually on it says Chattanooga, but that's a distributor. This machine is a K laser. It comes out of Italy. It is actually the world's best laser.
Okay.
Like there is no comparison, and there's
Okay.
nobody contradicting that. There are a lot of companies that make lasers now, and they all compare themselves to K-Laser.
Okay.
You know, they say, oh, we're better than, it is the standard. Really.
Yes.
It's the most expensive, but it's the best.
It's worth it.
Yep, all right. I'm gonna stop that there and see.
Guess what?
Nuh-uh.
Guess what?
What?
I can't feel that.
No way.
Before we started, I mean, and you can verify there's a little tiny bump there where it didn't heal, right?
Right.
I can't feel it. I mean, I can feel that I'm putting pressure on my finger right there, but I don't feel the sensation at the end of my finger like I did before.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that was how many years?
Almost 30 years ago.
Move, my turn. I'm just kidding.
Well, more than happy to trade the places because we do have about 5 minutes left. If you want to work on that dough problem you got.
Yeah, if you'd like to.
Yeah. We'll switch when you can do the wrist.
Is your wrist?
Yeah.
Okay, what part of your wrist hurts?
It's normally just like this whole circular area.
Okay.
I guess I would probably say maybe down more in this area right here.
I'll go all the way around
Okay.
for you. Yeah, I'm going to hold your hand up if that's okay. You can
Okay.
just relax your...
Yep.
Yeah. Are you relaxed?
I am. Am I
Okay.
not?
No. Yeah, are you? Yeah, there you go. Oop, wait, hang on a second. Oh, sorry, hen.
That is truly insane, Christine.
I know. I try to undersell it. I mean, I don't want to oversell it because
Well, yeah.
once in a while it doesn't work.
I would rather undersell and overdeliver personally.
Yeah, but it's so... You can relax. Yeah, there you come on. I can hold you. It's so amazing that I had a gal...
I have been to watch Risa grab something, and I've hit that little tiny spot that didn't heal correctly, and the sensation was so intense from my finger almost to my elbow, and it's really annoying when I bump it, but right now...
You're hitting it hard, too.
Yeah, for the cameras, I'm giving that a pretty good bump, and I don't have that sensation.
Nice.
Now imagine if you have like an actual, like she said, just getting out of surgery, and to avoid those pain medications, to do something like laser therapy instead of medication and putting all those toxic medications in your body.
Yeah.
Well, and I know that if you go back several episodes ago, I don't remember the exact episode number, but we did have a guest come in studio who is in studio with us now, our producer, who had something, actually you had something happen years ago where you had to get on pain medications.
I tore my ACL twice and had 4 knee surgeries.
And
Oh,
they gave
wow.
you pain meds
Yeah.
to deal with it, except
Yep.
then you became addicted to the pain meds.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so if you're listening and you've had anything remotely close to what Ashley had, what was it again you had?
I tore my ACL.
Yeah.
When I was younger, when I was 13, I had a sledding accident. That was the very first prescription. Doctor sat in the office with my mom, looked at her right in her face and said, "Don't worry, they're not addictive. This will manage your pain." And then a year later, I tore my ACL.
And still using the pain meds.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe a
And
flip
I
over.
And you just kinda
was using them until 33 years old.
So
Wow.
almost 20 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're looking for an option other than pain meds, which you may or may not become addicted to, I would say this is a really good option. I mean, you did a good job at the start saying no guarantees, but I am popping that thing pretty hard right now, and it's a totally different feeling.
Yeah. So my dad, he struggles with knee pain always, and so I'm sending him your way. And then my husband, he is a handyman, and he's been doing a lot of chainsaw jobs lately. So his arms or hands have just been throbbing, and so I feel like something like this, just a few treatments to just calm it and take away the pain.
It is unfortunate that Western medicine really hasn't caught up with Europe and places like that this machine comes out of Italy, and you know, it's $79. It's not horribly expensive, but insurance won't cover the cost of it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pros and cons to doing this versus the potential
Yes.
addictive.
Well,
pain.
and if you don't get any results with anything else, I mean,
What do you have to
you
lose?
have nothing, right? I
No.
mean, you had 30 years,
Yeah,
and
there was really nothing they could do. They just said, you
Yeah.
know what, it just didn't heal right, and those nerves didn't seal up, and that was the only thing I was told.
yeah.
So,
I have
how
a re-
much more time do we have on Amanda?
I'm just about done, like maybe
Okay.
another 10 seconds or so.
Well, while she's finished up there, Amanda, why don't you give a big shout out to our sponsor for the first half of the show?
Oh gosh, Oddmo's. He's absolutely amazing, you guys. Their pizzas are phenomenal. Their Green Monster is artichoke hearts. What else comes on it? I can't recall.
Well, it's all vegetables, I know that.
It is, and it is. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And it is absolutely amazing, fantastic food. Their potato poppers, their wings. They won Best Willamette Valley for their wings alone, which are so good. So if you guys are looking for a great option to do lunch or even Wow, I almost poked myself in the
Oh
eye.
yeah, sorry. It's spring loaded.
Lunch. You don't want to cook it's so beautiful out. So go grab a pizza, go to the park with you and your kids, or just enjoy it by yourself and have some nice Oddmost pizza and just enjoy yourself.
Well, and I know that last weekend the Capitals were at home, and we went Friday because Friday was the Kickin Cancer basketball game, and I made sure that I got some Oddmost pizza.
Oh yeah, they sell it by the slice there.
Slice, and it's great because you're at a basketball game, you want some concessions. You could get a hot dog if you actually do offer those, but it's nice to be able to go up and get a slice of pizza. And I'll tell you, my slice was about the size of a quarter. It was like the quarter of the pizza.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you. What a great way to try their different flavors too. Is just going and buying them by the slice there.
Yeah, and they did have wings there. If I would want it, they would have wings too. So
nice.
All of it. Well, we really appreciate Mike. We
Yes.
appreciate Mike's sponsorship of the first half of the show. When we come back from the commercial break, I think I'll see if everything you've done for my finger will work for my ankle, and I'll tell the story behind the ankle when we get done.
Okay, we'll be right back.